I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing. It was 3 a.m. I groaned and grabbed it. A text from an unknown number. Don't leave the house tonight. I stared at it. My apartment was small, quiet. The windows faced the street, dark and empty. I tried to laugh it off. Probably some kid messing around. But my gut twisted. The air felt heavier than usual. I rubbed my eyes and looked around. The shadows in the corners seemed sharper, darker. I told myself I was being paranoid. I locked the door again, even though it was already locked. The chain rattled. And then I heard it. A soft knock. 3 taps. Slow, deliberate. I froze. Nobody should be at my door. I listened. Silence. I held my breath. Another knock, louder. I grabbed a kitchen knife, the only weapon I had, and slowly moved to the door. The peephole showed nothing, just the empty hallway. My hand shook. I took a deep breath and opened the door. Nothing. The hallway was empty, just the dull hum of the fluorescent light overhead. I closed the door, locked it again, and leaned against it. My phone buzzed once more. A call this time. I didn't recognize the number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Did you see me?" The voice whispered. Raspy, low and close. "What?" I whispered back. "Who is this?" "I'm inside," it said. The line went dead. My blood ran cold. Inside? Impossible. You was alone. I double-checked the locks, windows, everything. Nothing. Then I heard it. A slow, dragging sound across the floor above me. My apartment was 1 floor up. I lived alone. Nobody should be there. I grabbed my coat, my knife, my phone, and decided to leave. I didn't care where. Anywhere but here. The elevator was broken. Of course, I hated stairs. I ran down them, 2, at a time. Every step echoed. When I reached the lobby, the main door was locked, and the lights flickered. I pounded on it. "Hello, somebody!" Nothing. The shadows in the lobby shifted, or maybe I imagined it. Then I saw it. A figure, standing outside behind the glass door. Dark, featureless, just a shape. It didn't move, didn't blink. It just watched. And then it raised a hand, pointing directly at me. I panicked, ran back upstairs into the stairwell. The dragging sound was louder now, closer. I sprinted to my apartment, keys in hand, door locked. I slid the key in, turned it, and slammed it shut behind me. My chest heaved. The dragging stopped. Silence. Almost peaceful, until my phone buzzed again. A photo this time. It was me, asleep, on my couch, taken from somewhere above or behind. I dropped the phone. It cracked on the floor. I picked it up. Another message. You can't hide. I grabbed a flashlight from the drawer. The battery was dead. Of course. My breath came fast. I felt trapped, like a cornered animal. I decided to check the apartment, every room. Living room, empty. Kitchen, empty. Bathroom, nothing. Bedroom, nothing. Then I heard it behind me. A whisper, soft, almost sweet. "I'm here." I spun around. Nothing. The shadows in the corner shifted again. My knife felt useless. My phone buzzed once more. A video this time. I opened it. It showed my living room. The camera was moving, like someone was walking through the apartment. My heart jumped. The camera turned, and I saw me, standing in the hallway. Only I hadn't moved. And then the lights went out. Total darkness. I stumbled toward the window, ripped the curtains aside. The street was empty, quiet, rain falling in sheets. Nothing. But then I heard it, the scraping of metal across the walls. Slow, methodical, coming closer. I couldn't tell which room. It didn't matter. It was inside. I ran to the bedroom, slammed the door, and barricaded it with my dresser. The dragging was right outside. I pressed my ear to the door. A pause. A breath. And then a voice, low, mocking. "I can see you." I screamed, ran to the closet, shoved everything inside, and crouched in the corner. The knife in my hand felt heavier than ever. Footsteps approached, slow, deliberate, each one a heartbeat in my chest. I could hear the scraping stop. A silence, then a click. The door handle turned. Slowly, I held my breath, ready to strike, ready to fight, ready to die. The handle stopped. Silence. Nothing. I waited, shaking, for what felt like hours. Finally, I dared to breathe. The door was still closed, no sound. I crawled to the peephole. Empty hallway. Nothing. I opened the door slowly. The apartment was quiet, untouched. The phone lay on the floor, screen cracked. I picked it up. Another message. "You're not alone." I dropped it, ran to the stairs, out into the rain. The street was empty. The city slept. But I knew it was there, somewhere, always watching, always waiting. I didn't stop running, and I knew somehow it would never let me go. I ran without looking back. Rain soaked me, cold seeping through my clothes. The streetlights flickered, one by one, as if the city itself was turning against me. Every shadow seemed alive, stretching toward me, waiting. I ducked into an alley. Puddles reflected the dim light. I could hear footsteps behind me, but when I turned, nothing, just walls, wet and grimy. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I ignored it. I didn't want to see what it said. A sound came from above, tin scraping metal. A trash can tipped over. I ran faster. The alley ended at a dead street. A chain link. Fence blocked the way. I looked around. A narrow path led into an abandoned building. No choice. I slipped inside. The building smelled like mold and rust. Broken glass crunched under my shoes. I could hear dripping water echo through the empty halls. I checked every room as I passed. Shadows clung to corners, walls scratched with marks, deep gouges, like claws. Then I heard it, a whisper right behind me. "You can't hide." I spun, knife ready. Nothing, just the darkness. I felt my heart in my throat. The air was thick, oppressive. I moved forward, careful, every step loud. The stairs creaked above me, slow, deliberate. Someone walking down. My instincts screamed at me to run, but I had nowhere to go. I ducked into a room. Broken chairs, torn papers, mouldy carpet. I pressed myself against the wall, knife shaking in my hand. The footsteps stopped at the door. Heavy breathing, low, ragged. I held my breath, counted to 10, 20. Then the door, handle turned, slowly. I swung the door open first. Nobody. The hallway was empty. I stepped out. The sound was gone. Silence. I moved down the hall cautiously. Then a shadow moved at the edge of my vision. Fast. Gone. I froze. My phone buzzed again. The screen lit up in the darkness. A video. I opened it. My apartment. The camera moved through my living room, past the kitchen, toward my bedroom. And there I was, crouched in the closet. The image shook, like the camera was trembling. The figure came into view, tall, dark, no face. It paused, looked at me, and then the video ended. I dropped the phone. My hands were shaking. I realized I didn't even know who or what was after me. I didn't even know why. All I knew was it was close, too close, and it had my life under its control. A door slammed somewhere far down the hall. Echoed. I ran. The building twisted around. Me. Corridors I didn't recognize appeared. Walls closed in. Doors vanished. Panic took over. The air smelled like smoke and wet earth. I didn't know where I was. Then a voice, everywhere at once. "Why are you running?" I ran faster. I didn't answer. The voice laughed, soft, cruel, like ice on my skin. The floor shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The building groaned, alive. I had no plan, no way out, just running. I turned a corner and saw light ahead. A doorway, open, a faint yellow glow. Hope. I sprinted. As I neared, I realized the doorway opened into my apartment, my living room, everything exactly as it was. The rain pounding outside, the broken phone on the floor. I froze. Something moved behind the couch. A shadow. It stretched, taller than any human. It stepped out slowly. Faceless. Silent. My knife felt useless in my hand. It raised a hand, pointing. "You can't leave." I ran to the door, tried to open it. Locked. I had locked it before. It wasn't locked now. I pulled, yanked, slammed, my shoulder against it. Nothing. I turned. The shadow was closer. I stumbled back. A whisper came in my ear. "You belong here," I screamed, and everything went black. When I woke, I was outside. The street was dry. The rain had stopped. The city was quiet. Nothing moved. My phone was gone. My knife was gone. I had no memory of how I got there. I ran, didn't look back. But every shadow, every flicker of light, I could feel it watching, waiting, patient. And deep inside, I knew it would follow me forever. I didn't stop running. The city streets were empty, streetlights flickered. Every corner, every alley, every shadow felt alive. I kept looking over my shoulder. Nothing, yet I could feel it, always there, just out of sight. I ducked into a convenience store. The bell jingled as I entered. The store was empty, shelves dusty, lights dim. I grabbed a bottle of water and drank fast. Hands shaking, heart hammering. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I hadn't had it for hours. How? I pulled it out. A new message, same unknown number. "You're slowing down." I dropped it, ran toward the back door, unlocked, pushed it open. The alley was dark. Nothing. But then I heard it, a scraping sound on the brick wall. I froze, slow, deliberate, like claws, dragging metal. I ran again, faster this time. My lungs burned. I stumbled, scraped my knee. Didn't stop. The footsteps followed, always behind me, closer. I turned a corner. A man stood there, face hidden in shadow, coat dripping rain. "Who are you?" I yelled. He didn't answer, just lifted a hand pointing at me. A cold wind blew. My vision blurred. I blinked. He was gone. I ran into a tunnel, dark, wet, smelled like rot. My flashlight barely pierced the gloom. Footsteps echoed behind me. Not mine. Slower, heavier, deliberate. I felt something brush my shoulder. Spun. Nothing. Just darkness. I ran. Turned a corner. Saw a door. Wooden, old. I opened it. A stairwell. It led down. I went down, almost falling with every step. At the bottom, a faint light glowed. I walked toward it. The walls were covered in scratches, deep marks, letters carved in desperation. "Don't let it take you." I shivered. The light led to a small room. Candles on the floor, a circle drawn in chalk. In the center, a figure crouched, head down, shaking. I realized it was a woman, soaked, terrified. "Hey," I said. "Are you okay?" She looked up. Eyes, wide, pure panic. "It's everywhere. It sees everything. You can't escape." I didn't understand. "What is it?" Before she could answer, the candles blew out. Darkness, total. The air grew thick, heavy, breathing, everywhere, surrounding me. Then a voice, low, mocking. "You tried to run." I whipped around. Shadows moved along the walls, crawling, slithering, reaching. I could feel them touching me, cold, sharp. I swung my knife, hit nothing but air. the woman screamed. I grabbed her hand. Come on! We ran. The stairwell twisted, endless. Every turn led us back to the same room. The circle. The candles relit themselves. The figure crouched in the center again. I realized the figure was not human. Tall, thin, faceless, shadowy. It moved unnaturally, stretched, bent, impossible angles, and it watched us. Patient, waiting. We have to fight it, the woman said, voice trembling, or it will never stop. How? I asked. What is it? It's not just one thing, she said. It's everything you fear, everything you run from. It feeds on fear. It follows. It waits. I felt it then. The room closed in. Walls breathing. Floor shifting. My heart raced. I swung the knife at nothing. The shadow flickered, hissed. The air smelled like fire and wet earth. We need to leave, she said. We need to find the light outside. The shadows hate light. We ran again. Twisting stairwells, endless corridors, shadows clawing at our heels. Every turn was the same, yet different. The air thickened. The walls bled darkness. My lungs burned. Finally, a door. Wooden, heavy. Light spilled through the crack. We pushed it open. Outside, rain had stopped. The street was empty. The city, quiet. Too quiet. I thought we were safe. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. A video. Opened it. It was us, running through the tunnels, and behind us, the shadows, closing in, smiling, faceless. I dropped the phone. We ran again. No plan, no hope, only movement, only survival. And somewhere, deep in the darkness, I felt it laughing. Patient, eternal. We didn't stop running. The city streets twisted strangely, like they were shifting while we moved. Alleys turned into dead ends. Sidewalks cracked and twisted beneath our feet. I kept glancing over my shoulder. Nothing. Yet the feeling of being watched never left. Every shadow seemed alive, moving with purpose. We need a car, the woman said, voice tight with fear. Somewhere we can outrun it. We ran toward the nearest street. Headlights pierced the darkness. A lone sedan sat parked, engine off, keys on the seat. I grabbed them without thinking. We jumped in. The engine roared to life. Rain started again, pounding the windshield. As we drove, the shadows followed. Not on the road, but along the buildings, stretching across windows, moving with us, faster than the car, patient, relentless. Where does it want us to go? I asked. I don't know, she whispered. It doesn't want a place. It wants fear. It wants control. It wants us. I pressed the accelerator. The shadows didn't change pace. They shifted, merged, splitting, following every turn. I could feel them pressing in, like hands against the glass, cold and heavy. We reached a bridge. Streetlights flickered. One collapsed as we passed. The shadows surged in the broken light. The road twisted. The bridge ended in a wall that hadn't been there a second ago. I slammed the brakes. The car skidded. Tires screamed. We were trapped. The shadows filled the street. Thick, moving, crawling up the sides of buildings. They whispered. Names, fears, memories. Everything I wanted to forget, spoken aloud. I can't do this, the woman said, gripping my arm. It knows everything. We have to try, I said. We can't stop. A figure emerged from the shadows, taller than any human, stretching impossibly, faceless, black smoke for limbs. It hovered over the car. I grabbed the wheel, but the car wouldn't move. The engine died. Get out, the woman said. Run. We didn't hesitate. Doors flung open. We ran. Rain pounded us. Shadows surged, but didn't follow us immediately. They waited, patient. We ran through narrow streets, the city turning into a maze. Alleys we swore, didn't exist appeared. Walls closed in. Buildings shifted like the city itself was alive. And then we heard it. A sound behind us. A slow, methodical dragging. We turned. A shadowy hand reached out from the darkness. Taller, wider than anything normal. It moved impossibly fast. We ran, weaving, sliding, dodging. It followed every step, never tiring. "The old church," she gasped. "We can hide there. Light. It hates light." I followed. Streets twisted, rain slick, signs flickered and dissolved. Finally, a spire appeared. Tall, looming, broken windows. We ran inside. Doors closed behind us. Silence. Almost peaceful, but I knew it wouldn't last. Candles flickered along the walls, dust thick in the air. We ran to the altar. The shadows stayed at the entrance, impossible, silent, patient. Then they moved inside, crawling across the floor, walls, ceiling. I grabbed a fallen candle, held it high. The shadows shrieked, recoiling. The light burned their edges. The woman grabbed an old lamp and lit it. Together we pushed the shadows back. For now, I could hear them whispering, screaming, names, fears, secrets. Some I didn't know I had. I realized this was more than a chase. It knew me, everything about me. "We can't stay," she said. "We need to go up. The bell tower. The higher we are, the more light, the safer we are. But it will try to reach us." I nodded. We climbed. Stairs crumbled beneath our feet, but we pressed on. Higher, higher, until we reached the top. The city sprawled below, quiet, wet, empty. The wind howled. Shadows pressed against the tower walls, trying to climb, trying to reach us. We lit every candle we could find. The shadows hissed, retreated slightly, but still lingered, swirling below. They whispered promises, threats, secrets. Everything I feared most, spoken aloud. And then one whispered my name, softly, lovingly. "Come back." I looked at the woman. She shook. "It's calling to you. Don't listen." The wind tore at the tower. Rain fell in sheets. Shadows began to rise like smoke, trying to climb, trying to reach the light. I realized the fight wasn't over. It would never be over. It didn't just want to scare. It wanted control, domination, fear, endless. We had survived for now, but every step, every shadow, every whisper reminded me. It was patient, eternal, and it would follow. Always. I gripped my candle tighter. We had light. We had hope. For now. But deep down, I knew the night was far from over. We stayed in the bell tower for what felt like hours. Wind howled around us. Rain hammered the roof. Shadows writhed below, pressing against the light. Every time we thought they were retreating, they surged again. Faster, angrier, whispering secrets we didn't want to hear. "We can't stay here forever," the woman said, voice shaking. "It will find a way," I nodded. "We need a plan, a real plan." She looked at me, eyes wide. "There's a library, abandoned, old, maps, maybe supplies, and light. We could make traps, maybe slow it down." "Then we go," I said. We climbed down the spiral stairs, careful. Each step groaned under our weight. Outside, the city had changed. Streets twisted unnaturally. Buildings shifted. Alleys ended in walls that weren't there a second ago. The shadows moved like liquid, flowing along the streets, waiting. As we ran, the air thickened. Whispers followed. Names. Fears. Things we'd buried deep inside ourselves. I tried not to listen, but each one clawed at my mind. I felt my sanity fraying. We reached the library. Broken windows, doors barely hanging. Inside smelled like mold and old paper. Stacks of books leaned precariously. Sunlight barely reached in, but there were candles, flickering, lit by someone, or something, long gone. "We need to make light," the woman said. It hates light. I grabbed candles, lamps, anything that could burn. We placed them around the main hall. Shadows hissed outside. They tried to enter. The light held them at bay, for now. Then we heard it. A sound from above. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. The stairwell to the library's upper floor creaked. We froze. Stay low, I whispered. A shadow appeared at the top of the stairs. Taller than any human. Impossible angles. Faceless. It moved without stepping, sliding toward us. The candles flickered violently. I swung my knife at it. Passed through smoke. It hissed, and the smell of burning flesh filled the air. We ran to the back of the library. Old doors. Locked. I kicked. Splintered wood. We squeezed through. Another room. More candles. We grabbed what we could. The shadow followed, creeping, along walls, ceiling, floor, whispering, promising. You cannot escape. I felt it brush my shoulder, cold, heavier than air. I swung. Nothing. My arms shook. I grabbed the woman's hand. We ran to the upper floor. Old stairs, rotten, barely holding. Above, a skylight. Maybe we could escape onto the roof. Maybe the light outside would stop it. We climbed. Shadow followed. Faster now. Angry. Whispering our names. Mocking. Finally, the skylight. We pushed it open. Rain poured in. We climbed onto the roof. The city spread below. Shadows moved across the streets, writhing but unable to reach us here. For the first time, I felt a flicker of hope. We had light, distance. Maybe we could survive. But then the shadows began to climb the walls, slow, patient. They twisted around each other, forming shapes, faces, impossible limbs. They hissed, whispered, called to us, threatened us. We ran across the roof, slippery, wet. One misstep, and we'd fall into the darkness below. The shadows surged closer, faster now, relentless. The woman grabbed my arm. We need to jump, she shouted. There's a building close enough. We can make it. I looked. A lower building, maybe 20 feet. Too high, maybe. We had no choice. Ready? I asked. She nodded. We ran, leaped, hit the roof hard, rolled. Pain shot through my ankle. Didn't matter. The shadow froze for a moment, then hissed, swirling in anger. It couldn't reach the light here. Not yet. We crawled inside the building. Empty, dark. Smelled like dust and old wood. Candles flickered, on the floor. I felt my heart pounding. The shadows outside waited, patient, eternal. We can't stay, I said. We need to move before it finds a way in. The woman nodded. We need a plan. It's not just a shadow, it's smart. It knows us, everything. I realized she was right. Every whisper, every step, every fear. It was personal. It knew us. It knew what terrified us most. And it fed on it. We couldn't stop. We had to move. Survive. Somehow. Escape. But no matter where we ran, I knew one truth. It would follow. Forever. Patient. Eternal. Waiting for the moment we faltered. I gripped my knife, held the woman's hand. We ran into the night, and I knew this was only the beginning. We ran through the dark streets, heartbeats echoing in the empty city. The shadows didn't follow openly now. They waited, hidden, twisting along the edges of buildings, in alleys, under streetlights. Every time, we slowed. A whisper reached us, soft, cold, promising everything we feared. Where are we going? The woman asked, voice trembling. Somewhere with light. Somewhere it can't reach, I said, though I wasn't sure it existed. We turned into an alley, narrow, wet, slick with rain. Broken trash cans lined the walls. Shadows flickered at the edges of my vision. One moved closer, faster. We ran, then a sound behind us, dragging, slow, deliberate. It wasn't a single shadow now. Dozens, hundreds, swirling, merging, following our every step. "This way!" I shouted, spotted a fire escape ladder leading up the side of an old warehouse. We climbed. Metal groaned under our weight. The shadows reached the wall beneath us, twisting, trying to climb. "Keep going!" the woman yelled. We scrambled onto the roof, rain slick, wind tearing at our clothes. Below, shadows moved like liquid, pooling, shifting, waiting, whispering our names, laughing softly. The roof ended in a drop to another building, 20 feet, too high. I looked around. Across the street, an abandoned apartment block, maybe 15 feet, less risk. We jumped, landed hard, rolled. Pain shot through my knees and wrist. Didn't matter. We ran. Inside, the building was dark, musty, empty. Stairs led up. We climbed, careful. Shadows could sense us. Whispers filled the halls. "You cannot escape. You belong to us." We reached the top floor. Windows broken. Moonlight spilled in. We could see the city. No movement below. Or so it seemed. "We can rest here," she said. For a moment. "No," I said. "We don't rest. Not until we know what it wants." We moved cautiously through the apartment. Rooms empty, furniture overturned. Dust everywhere. I found a flashlight. Batteries weak. Still, enough. Then the shadows appeared inside. Not fully, just edges. Creeping along the walls, twisting, stretching. They hissed when we moved toward them. "It's trying to scare us," she whispered. "Make us run. Make us panic." I nodded. "We have to stay calm." We climbed another flight of stairs. Roof access. A skylight. Maybe another way down. Safer. Maybe. As we emerged, the city sprawled below. Wind ripped at our hair. Rain soaked through our clothes. Shadows reached for us, climbing the walls, twisting, hissing. We kept moving. Across rooftops, narrow ledges, rusted metal beams. One misstep, and we'd fall into the dark streets below. "We can't keep running forever," she said, voice trembling. "It will find us." "Then we fight," I said. "We use light, fire, anything to slow it down." We found a construction site, piles of wood, barrels, broken tools. We lit everything we could. Flames roared, shadows shrieked, recoiling. Whispers turned into screams. Smoke filled the air, but they adapted, merged. Shapes twisting into forms impossible to imagine. Faces appearing in the smoke, eyes glowing, limbs stretching, grasping. We swung knives, but they passed through nothing. Fear made them stronger. "We can't fight it forever," she said, panic rising. "We need a plan. Somewhere it can't reach," I thought. My mind raced. Light, high places, isolated, open spaces, maybe a bridge over the river. Nothing around, no walls, no corners. Shadows hate light and open spaces. "The bridge," I said. "We run to the bridge, cross over. Maybe there it can't follow." She nodded. "Then let's go. Now." We ran, jumping between rooftops, slipping on wet metal. Shadows surged. Beneath us, clawing, stretching, whispering, promising, mocking. Finally, the street below, the bridge. Long, metal, glowing under faint lights. No buildings around. Open. Rain poured. We sprinted across. Shadows reached the edge but couldn't follow. We were safe. For now, we collapsed, soaked, panting. The city behind us. Quiet. Almost. Peaceful. But we knew it waited. Patient, eternal. It would never stop. And deep down, I realized something worse. It didn't just want to scare us. It wanted to break us, to chase us, until we forgot who we were. We had survived another night. Barely. But tomorrow, it would return. We stayed on the bridge until the rain eased. The air smelled of wet metal and the river below. My hands were numb, my body shaking. The woman beside me was silent, staring at the shadows that lingered at the bridge's edge, refusing to cross. "We need a plan," I said, voice rough. "We can't just keep running." She nodded. I know. There's an old factory nearby. Abandoned. Lots of light inside. Big windows. We could trap it, maybe. I looked toward the city. Shadows twisted in the distance. Impossible. Shapes. Crawling along buildings, merging and splitting. Whispering names, memories, fears. Everything we'd ever hidden. Then we go, I said. We moved carefully, sprinting down the bridge, wet shoes slipping on metal grates. Shadows surged, beneath us, creeping along the rails. I felt the air press against my skin, heavy, almost alive. We reached the factory. Broken doors, shattered glass. Inside, darkness, dust, smell of oil and rust. We lit what we could. Candles, flashlights, even a few torches we found. Light spread. Across the floor. Shadows recoiled, hissing, whispering threats. "We can't just stay here," she said, eyes wide. "It's testing us." I nodded. "We need a trap." We found old chains, beams, metal rods. We set up barriers, lights at the edges. Shadows circled outside, stretching impossibly, trying to enter. Whispers turned to screams. Shapes formed in the corners. Faces, hands, impossible limbs. We swung knives, but they passed through smoke. Then the shadow moved differently. Faster. Smarter. It split, several shapes now, attacking from different angles. One reached through a window, fingers grazing my shoulder. I felt cold. Heavier than air. Screamed, swung my knife. "Nothing! Light!" I shouted. We swung torches, candles, lamps. Flames roared, shadows hissed, retreated, twisted, but they adapted, forming new shapes, climbing, merging. I realized it wasn't just a shadow. It was thinking, learning. The woman grabbed my arm. "We can't fight it forever," she said. "We need to escape," I thought. Open spaces, water. Maybe the river could stop it. Shadows hate barriers they can't climb. We ran to the back exit, careful. The shapes followed, crawling along walls, twisting, whispering secrets. Outside, the river ran fast. Moonlight reflected off the surface. We jumped in, water cold, pulling us down. Shadows tried to follow, twisting at the edge of the current. They recoiled. Couldn't enter. For now. We swam to the other side, collapsing on the wet bank. Rain had stopped. Silence. Almost peaceful. "For now," she whispered. "But it knows where we are." I looked back. City dark. Empty. Shadows waiting. Patient. Eternal. "We keep moving," I said. "Never stop." And I realized it didn't just want to chase us. It wanted to break us. To follow us until we forgot ourselves, until we became fear. We didn't sleep. We didn't rest. Only ran. Day after day, night after night, through forests, abandoned roads, broken highways. It followed. Always patient, whispering our secrets, our fears, our names. Testing, learning, adapting. We found signs of others. Abandoned camps, notes, messages. Don't stop running. It knows you. There is no escape. I understood then. We were not the first. We would not be the last. I gripped the woman's hand. We ran again. The sun setting. Shadows stretching from the city. Reaching, twisting, endless. And deep inside, I knew one truth. It would never stop. Forever patient, forever waiting, and we would never be free. We ran through the night. Forests replaced streets, broken paths, trees clawing at our faces. Every rustle made us jump. Shadows didn't move openly now. They lurked at the edges, stretching along trunks, wrapping around branches, whispering, mocking. "We can't keep running blindly," the woman said, voice tight with fear. "We need shelter, somewhere light can protect us." "Light slows it," I said, "but it adapts. We need more than just light. Traps, Barriers. We found an abandoned cabin. Wooden, old, broken windows. Dust thick. Floor rotted. I lit every candle, every lamp we could find. Shadows huddled outside. They hissed, waiting. Patient. Eternal. We barricaded doors, set up sticks, metal rods, chains. The shadows pressed against the walls. Shapes formed, twisting, reaching, whispering secrets we'd buried deep. Names we'd forgotten. Fears we didn't. No, we had. It's learning, the woman whispered. The more scared we are, the stronger it gets. I gripped my knife tighter. We couldn't let it win, not yet. Then a sound above, slow, dragging. We froze. Steps on the roof, impossible. Angles, footsteps without weight. The roof groaned under something heavy. I shined a flashlight upward. Nothing. Just shadows twisting in impossible shapes. I could hear whispers. Come down. You belong. We have to move, I said. Before it finds a way inside. We ran into the forest. Mud sucked at our shoes. Branches scratched our faces. The shadows followed. Slow, patient, stretching along the trees, whispering, promising, mocking. Look, the woman shouted. A clearing, moonlight, open, no shadows here. We ran to it, paused, breathed. For now, I said, but we can't stay. We moved across the clearing, river ahead. Maybe water could stop it, maybe not. Shadows reached for the edge, curling, hissing, unable to enter. We dove in, cold, pulling each other. Current strong, carrying us downstream. We reached the other side, soaked, shivering. The forest silent. The shadows had stayed behind, patient, waiting, eternal. We walked, keeping low. Every sound made us jump. Distant whispers carried on the wind. The woman held my hand tighter. We're running out of options, she said. It's everywhere. It knows everything. It will never stop. I nodded. We survive. Day by day, night by night. It follows. Yes. But it hasn't caught us. Yet. We found signs of others. Abandoned camps, torn clothes, notes scratched in mud. Don't stop running. It knows your fears. There is no escape. I realized then, we were part of something bigger. It had hunted others, learned from them, tested them, destroyed them. We were next. We kept moving. Rivers, forests, abandoned towns. Every night the shadows followed, patient, mocking. Every day we ran, searching for light, safety, traps. And yet, I knew one thing. It would never stop. Not ever. Patient. Eternal. Waiting for the moment we faltered. Waiting for fear to consume us. And deep inside, I understood. No matter how far we ran, no matter how much light we carried, we were part of its world now. Forever. The night stretched. Ahead, we held hands. Ran through mud, rain, broken roads. The shadows behind us. Patient. Eternal. And we knew, without speaking, that this was only the beginning. We didn't stop moving. The forest gave way to old, broken roads. Weeds cracked through, asphalt, abandoned cars rotting at the sides. Every shadow seemed alive. Shapes twisted along walls, trees, abandoned vehicles, following us. Patient, eternal. We need supplies, the woman said, voice quiet. Food, water, anything we can use to survive. Then we find a store, abandoned, it has to exist. We moved carefully. Broken buildings rose ahead. Shattered windows. Empty streets. The wind whispered through empty signs. Every sound made us jump. Branches scraping, metal creaking, shadows stretching just beyond the light. We found a small grocery store. Shelves empty, windows cracked, dust thick. We grabbed cans, bottles, anything edible, candles from the back room. Light could buy us time. We set them around the store. Shadows pressed against the windows. Shapes formed, twisting, impossible limbs. Faces with no eyes. Whispers filled the air. You cannot escape. You belong. I gripped my knife. The woman gripped my arm. We can't fight them, she said. We survive. That's all we can do. I nodded. We survive. Day by day, night by night. Then a scraping sound above us. Slow, deliberate. Footsteps on broken stairs. We froze. The ceiling creaked, shadows seeped through cracks, reaching, twisting, whispering our names. Everything we feared most, spoken aloud. We have to move, I said. We climbed through the back door into a narrow alley. Rain started again. Cold, slick. Shadows followed, crawling, twisting, waiting. Look, she said. River ahead. Wide, fast. Open space. Maybe the water would stop it. We ran, jumped in. Current carried us downstream. Cold, relentless. Shadows pressed against the banks but couldn't enter the water. For now, we emerged, soaked, exhausted. Forest ahead. Moonlight barely breaking through the trees. Silence. Almost peaceful. For now, I said. But it will catch us eventually. We walked through mud and brush. Abandoned towns passed. Broken homes, graffiti, notes. Don't stop running. It knows your fears. There is no escape. I realized we were part of something bigger. Hunted before, tested, learned from, destroyed. We were next. But we had light, and we had movement. For now. Nights passed. Always running. Rivers, forests, roads. Every night the shadows followed, stretching, whispering, patient, eternal. Every day we ran, searching for light, safety, traps, anything to delay it. And yet, no matter how far, no matter how bright our lights, we could feel it behind us. Waiting, learning, patient, eternal. We found a broken church, windows shattered, doors hanging. Inside, old candles and lanterns. We lit what we could, barricaded the doors, made traps with old pews, chains. The shadows hissed, twisted, trying to enter. Faces appeared in the smoke. Limbs reached through the gaps. It's testing us, the woman said, eyes wide. Seeing what we fear most. I nodded. We can't falter. Not now. Not ever. The night stretched on. Whispers grew louder. Footsteps above, behind, everywhere. Shapes merged, split, impossible angles. It tried to scare us, break us, push us to panic. We stayed alert, moved constantly. Every night, shadows adapted. Every day we found light, safety, movement. And deep inside, I knew one truth. It would never stop. Patient, eternal, waiting. We ran again, through forests, broken roads, abandoned cities, mud, rain, rivers, always moving, always surviving, always haunted. And we understood. This chase was endless, forever. We didn't stop moving. Every night, shadows followed. Every day, we searched for light. Abandoned towns, broken roads, flooded streets, forests dense with twisted trees. Every place held whispers, names, fears, memories. Everything we tried to forget, everything it knew. We can't run forever, the woman said, voice trembling. It's everywhere. It's patient. It will wait until we falter. Then, we survive, I said. That's all we can do, day by day, night by night. We stumbled upon an old train station. Tracks broken, cars rusted, walls covered in moss. We climbed aboard a freight car, trying to hide. Shadows gathered outside. They hissed, twisted, reaching, impossible shapes, faceless, mocking. We lit lanterns. The shadows recoiled. For now. We can't stay here, she whispered. It's testing us again. I nodded. We move at dawn, across the plains, open space, no walls, no corners, maybe water, maybe fire. Light slows it. We have to keep moving. Morning came, cold, grey, silent. We walked. Fields stretched ahead, flat, empty. Shadows lingered at the edge. We ran across open land. Wind whipped our faces. The sun rose higher. For a moment, it felt safe. Then the whispers returned. Soft, subtle. Behind us. Inside our minds. Names. Fears. Memories. Secrets. Every step reminded us we were being hunted. Don't stop, I said. We can't. The woman nodded. We ran through the plains, reaching an abandoned farmhouse. We lit candles, lamps, torches. Shadows pressed against the walls, hissing, retreating from light. Shapes twisted outside, crawling, forming faces, limbs, impossible angles. It learns, she said, eyes wide. The more scared we are, the stronger it gets. I realized she was right. Every whisper, every movement, every fear we felt made it stronger, smarter, faster, relentless, patient, eternal. We barricaded doors with old furniture, chains, anything heavy, shadows pressed against them, climbing, reaching, whispering threats. We swung knives, torches, lamps. It recoiled, but adapted. New shapes, new limbs, impossible angles, faster, smarter. We can't fight it forever, she whispered. We need to escape, water maybe, or high places. Somewhere it can't follow, I thought. Rivers, cliffs, open spaces, light, barriers, somewhere it couldn't reach, somewhere it would hesitate. We moved again. Night fell, forest ahead. Rain began, mud sucked at our shoes. Branches clawed our faces, whispers followed. Every tree, every shadow, alive. Patient, eternal. We reached a river, fast, wide, jumped in. Current pulled us downstream. Shadows pressed along the bank, unable to follow. For now, we reached the other side, soaked, cold, exhausted. The forest, stretched ahead. Silent. Almost peaceful. We can't stop, I said. Not ever. We walked through mud, brush, broken roads, abandoned towns past, notes scratched in mud. Don't stop running. It knows your fears. There is no escape. I realized we were part of something bigger, hunted before, tested, destroyed. It learned from others. Now we were next. Nights passed, always moving. Rivers, forests, roads. Shadows always followed, stretching, whispering, patient, eternal. We had light, movement, survival. For now, but deep. Inside, I knew one truth. It would never stop. Patient, eternal, waiting. We ran again. Across forests, plains, rivers, broken towns, mud, rain, night, day. And we understood. This chase was endless. Forever. We didn't stop running. Every night the shadows followed. Every day we searched for light. Abandoned towns, broken roads, forests dense with twisted trees. Every place whispered our fears. Names, secrets, memories. It knew everything. We can't run forever, the woman said, voice trembling. It's everywhere. It will wait until we falter. Then we survive, I said. Day by day. Night by night. That's all we can do. We stumbled on an abandoned gas station, broken pumps, shattered glass. We grabbed bottles of water, anything to eat, old candles. Light could buy time. We lit what we could. Shadows pressed against walls and windows, twisting, reaching, faces in smoke, limbs stretching impossibly. Whispers filled the air. You cannot escape. You belong. I gripped my knife. She gripped my arm. We can't fight it, she said. We survive. That's all we can do. I nodded. We survive. Then a scraping sound. Above us. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Ceiling groaned. Shadows seeped through cracks. Reaching, twisting, whispering names, fears, memories. Everything we tried to hide. We have to move, I said. We climbed through the back door into an alley. Rain slick, mud thick. Shadows followed, twisting, reaching, waiting. "Look," she said. "River ahead. Wide, open space. Maybe the water could stop it." We ran, jumped in. Current strong, pulled us downstream. Shadows pressed against the banks, but couldn't enter. For now, we emerged, wet, cold, exhausted. Forest ahead, silent, almost peaceful. "We can't stop," I said. "Not ever." We walked through mud, brush, broken roads. Abandoned towns passed. Messages scratched in mud. "Don't stop running. It knows your fears. There is no escape." I realized we were part of something bigger. Hunted before, tested, destroyed. It learned from others. We were next. Nights passed, always moving. Rivers, forests, roads. Shadows always followed. Stretching, whispering, patient, eternal. Every step, every fear made it stronger. We found an old factory. Broken windows, doors hanging. Inside, old lights, candles, lanterns. Light slowed it. We barricaded doors, set traps with chains, metal, rods, old beams. Shadows hissed, twisted, trying to enter. Impossible shapes, faces in smoke, limbs through cracks. "It's testing us," the woman whispered. "Seeing what we fear most." I gripped my knife tighter. We can't falter, not now, not ever. The night stretched on. Whispers grew louder. Footsteps above, behind, everywhere. Shapes merged, split, impossible angles. It tried to scare us, break us, push us to panic. We stayed alert, moved constantly. Every night, shadows adapted. Every day, we found light, safety, movement. And deep inside, I knew one truth. It would never stop. Patient, eternal, waiting. We ran again. Forests, plains, rivers, abandoned towns, mud, rain. Always moving, always surviving, always haunted. And we understood. This chase was endless. Forever. We ran until dawn. The forest thinned, giving way to a cliff overlooking the ocean. Waves crashed below, white foam glowing in the morning light. For a moment, the world felt quiet, almost safe. "This is it," the woman whispered. "We can't go any further." I looked back. The shadows reached the edge of the trees, patient, eternal, waiting. Their shapes twisted and merged, impossibly tall, faceless, endless. They couldn't cross open space easily. Water slowed them. Light weakened them. But they didn't stop. "Then we fight," I said. "Or we end it here." We gathered rocks, branches, anything we could throw. Candles we had lit flickered in the wind. The shadows hissed, twisted, surged closer. Voices whispering, mocking. Names, fears, secrets. Everything we'd hidden. Everything it had learned. We hurled everything we could. The shadows recoiled from the light, the fire, the noise. For a moment, it seemed possible. "Now," the woman shouted. We jumped. Off the cliff. Into the ocean. Water swallowed us. Cold, endless. The shadows pressed at the cliff's edge but couldn't follow. Waves crashed. Currents pulled us far from shore. Light reflected off the foam. Open space protected. Us, at least for now. We surfaced, coughing, gasping. The sun rose higher. The shadows lingered at the cliff, patient, eternal, waiting. But we were alive, free. For now, we drifted toward a small cove. Safe, isolated. No trees, no walls, no corners. The shadows didn't follow. The ocean kept them at bay. "We survived," she whispered, voice trembling. "We're alive. For now," I said. "But it will wait. Patient, eternal, always waiting." We looked at each other, exhausted, bleeding, shivering. The chase was over, for now, But we both knew it wasn't gone. It never would be. It had learned, adapted, watched. It would return. Someday. And deep inside, we understood. Survival wasn't escape. It was endurance, light against dark, movement against patience, life against fear. We held hands. We moved forward, across the water, toward the horizon, toward a fragile dawn. And though the shadows lingered in our minds, whispering, waiting, we had survived the night. For now. The end.